Let's take a closer look at Origin Story. Origin Story is a 1 to 5 player trick-taking game published by Stonemaier games. And in this game, you are channeling your inner superhero to determine your origin story. You see, each round you will be playing story cards, and this is building your superhero's backstory, and it will also give you additional abilities to spend your stamina on. Every character has a unique ability you can spend stamina on to activate your personal ability, or if you have enough stamina, you can spend it on your origin story cards as you build and progress your origin story. And before all the cards are resolved, you'll have to decide, do you want to be the hero,
or do you want to be the villain?
So during the round, once you decide whether you want to be a hero or a villain, it will dictate how you score points for that round. So if you decide to be a hero, you will gain 1 victory point for every trick you win that round. But if instead you decide to play the villain, you will gain 4 victory points if you win exactly 0 tricks throughout the round. So if you catch a trick and you're playing evil, you may as well catch as many tricks as you can, because anything you catch now will prevent the other heroes from gaining those extra points. And keep in mind, this is a trick-taking game where you have brains, you have speed, you have strength, but what beats all and what acts as our trump suit is, of course, love. So while we are effectively playing with a full deck of cards, the issue comes as we are working with imperfect information, as each player will only receive 8 cards. So if you're playing in a 3-player game, that means half of your deck isn't even in the game. And of course, you can't have an origin story without having a superhero to attach that origin story to. So at the beginning of the game, you start with 2 of these, which also double as reference cards. And at the beginning of round 5, you will reveal your superhero, one of these 2, and that will give you an additional special ability for that final round. And on top of all that, you have event cards that will be throwing wrenches into your plans. What I dislike about this though is that you will only ever see 1 of these throughout each game you play. There's 18 cards here, but you only ever see 1. Why so many cards if you only get 1 event? I want more events. A redeeming quality with Stonemaier games though are of course the components. They are always very well done. The spinning dials have just enough resistance to keep the numbers in place while still making sure that they can easily be changed with no problems. The stamina tokens are simple wooden but satisfying. The cards are of great quality, and the player boards as well with this nice thick cardboard. So let's just talk about a few more things here before we wrap things up, starting with my biggest qualms of the game. Not even real issues, but choosing to be a hero or a villain in between each round just thematically to me doesn't make that much sense. Why would you want to be a hero one round and a villain the next? I get why it's there, because if you just have a bad hand, you might want to try and take 0 tricks and that can get you points at least, but flipping between being a hero and a villain just doesn't make sense to me. Again, I mentioned this before too, you have events which change how the round works, and honestly these are my favorite parts of these kind of trick-taking games. I like the wrenches being thrown in there because otherwise we're just playing a standard trick-taking game. On the other side of the coin though, where those events fall short of creating those special moments, we have the story cards, and these will let you do special abilities on your turn using your stamina. However, more often than not, you will not have enough stamina in order to charge all the cards you want to, because this is something that has to happen before the cards start being laid down. So if you take a bad guess on what story cards you think you will use for the round, you might not even spend any stamina at all, which to me just isn't that satisfying. Now I know it sounds like I'm being hard on this game, but honestly, I really enjoyed my plays of it, and I would give it a 7 out of 10. Is part of that my love for trick-taking games in general? Yes, absolutely, that is definitely a factor. But I also think it does some promising things, and it is very close to getting an 8 or even a 9 out of me if it just incorporated the events a little bit more, gave me better chances to play my story cards. I think that could easily bump it up. I'm excited to see where this game goes though, and what Stonemaier Games has planned for it. And that is my take on Origin Story. I hope you learned something today. If you did, please leave a comment below and let me know your thoughts on this game as well. That's all I have for now though, guys, and we'll see you soon.